Joe Rogan, stand-up comedian, UFC commentator, and host of the most listened-to podcast in the world. But how did a blue-collar kid from New Jersey become one of the most powerful voices in modern media? This is the life story of Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan was born on August 11, 1967, in Newark, New Jersey. His early life wasn't glamorous. Raised by a single mom after his parents divorced when he was just 5. Rogan moved around often and eventually landed in Massachusetts. As a teenager, he wasn't chasing fame. He was obsessed with martial arts. By age 19, he was a national champion in Taekwondo and later took up Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But a series of injuries ended his competitive dreams. That's when Joe made a pivot that would change everything: stand-up comedy. In the late 80s and early 90s, Rogan hit the Boston comedy circuit. Raw, loud, and brutally honest, his comedy style stood out. His talent caught the eye of TV producers, landing him a role on the sitcom News Radio in the mid-90s. That exposure gave him national attention, but Hollywood wasn't where Joe felt at home. In 2001, everything changed again when he became the host of a weird new show called Fear Factor. Fear Factor turned Joe Rogan into a household name. He made millions and became a pop culture icon. But behind the scenes, Rogan was still deeply connected to martial arts. In fact, he had already started working with the UFC as a backstage interviewer in the late 90s. By 2002, he was cage-side as a full-time color commentator, combining fight knowledge with comedic timing. Fans loved it. Rogan's voice became synonymous with MMA. In 2009, Rogan launched the Joe Rogan Experience, a podcast recorded in his home. No script. No censors. Just raw, open conversations. He interviewed fighters, comedians, scientists, and conspiracy theorists. The format was long, sometimes 3 hours, but it worked. People were starving for real, unfiltered dialogue. By the mid-2010s, his podcast had millions of listeners and global influence. Then, in 2020, Spotify signed him for a $100 million exclusive deal, one of the biggest in podcast history. With influence came controversy. Rogan has been criticized for spreading misinformation, giving platforms to polarizing guests, and questioning mainstream narratives. But he's also been praised for defending free speech, challenging groupthink, and exposing millions to new ideas. Whether you agree with him or not, Joe Rogan is undeniably one of the most influential media figures of our time. He's changed how people consume content. No filters. No scripts. Just conversation. Joe Rogan went from martial artist, to comedian, to podcasting powerhouse. He didn't follow the rules, he broke them. And in doing so, he built something completely his own. Love him or hate him, Joe Rogan changed the game.